Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is Dr. Levi, and welcome to our show here on Twitch TV. This is our first series, and our series is really dedicated to helping gamers. We're going to talk a lot about prevention of repetitive stress injuries. For myself, I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in Los Angeles, and my goal is to get you fit, to get you healthy, and more importantly, to help you prevent any type of injury to your upper extremities. So let's talk about RSI. If you have any questions, of course, I'm right here ready to interact with you. And I want you to know, above all, that everything that we talk about is really about elevating you to feel good about yourself, and more importantly, how to prevent injury. You know, Twitch TV is a great platform, and I also want to remind you, please join us on our other social media platforms, from Twitter to Facebook, Instagram. And I want you to know that we're here to really get you healthy and also to prevent injury. You know, the gaming community I've embraced, and they've really embraced me, and that community specifically has many repetitive stress type injuries. So what do I mean by RSI, repetitive stress injury? Well, these are injuries to the fingers, the hands, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, the posture and neck. All of these are mainly due to overuse. That's what it really is. So the bottom line here is this. You want to make sure that your desk is ergonomically balanced. Oh, and I want to say hello to, I guess this is fat soggy muffin from Rancho. I don't know if that's a Rancho Mirage or Rancho Cucamonga, but hello, fat soggy muffin. If you have a question, let me know. I want to say, with the gaming community, you have so many injuries that are, again, repetitive stress injuries. The goal here is to get you fit, to get you healthy, and to prevent injury. Now, myself, as an orthopedic surgeon, I see so many gamers from all over the world who have really serious injuries from overuse. Because think about this. Many of you gamers will game not only once or twice a week, but often 6 and sometimes 5 days a week for 6 to 14, maybe 18 hours a day. That's a lot. So your body is really taking a hit. So with that, you really have to be cognizant and aware of how you're gaming, what you're doing with your body mechanics. You have to think about the following. Do you have a chair that's ergonomically balanced? Do you have proper back support for your lumbar spine? Are you sitting upright when you're gaming? Are you doing what I call the slouching position, whereby your shoulders are rolled over like this? You really want to keep your shoulders upright. That's really important. And it's also important that you have, if you can, an ergonomically balanced keyboard. Because the keyboard, think about it, it's one of your arsenals when you're a gamer. The keyboard, the joystick, the console, the mouse. All of those are important, but so is your chair. Now, when it comes to where you're sitting, it's important that you have the keyboard 6 to maybe 9 inches in front of you, and the monitor should be eye level and approximately 18 to 24 inches in front of you. Up to 30 would be the maximum, I would say. Now, when you're gaming, it's important that you keep your body upright, that you're not moving around so much that you begin to slouch your shoulders over, because all of those things will increase your risk and the chances of developing RSI, repetitive stress injury. So for us here, my team and I, we really want you to be healthy. We want you to have long, extended gaming careers, and we also want you to have a career that you really enjoy. And as a gamer, we want you to be healthy. Now, when it comes to even sitting at your desk, as I stated before, make sure you keep your feet in front of you, flat on the ground. And it's also important that you keep your shoulders upright, that you're not rounding your shoulders, that you're not sitting to the side, either side, but you're upright and just plain. I have another. This is from Z Shark. Is it bad sitting really far back? That's how I play. Well, Z Shark, that depends. I can share this with you. It's more important to sit upright. Even if you sit back or distance from your monitor, it's very important that you keep your shoulders upright, that you don't round your back, that you have proper back support. And the back support, specifically the lumbar spinal support, can be with a small pillow or even a rolled up towel. You can do a lot of things really just to keep your lower back supported. So if you sit back, not necessarily bad, but you don't want to be more than 24, 30 inches maximum from your monitor. If not, you can increase the strain on your eyes. So it's not simply about the ergonomic balance of sitting close, far, or near. It's really about the strain on your eyes. And can you see, for example, if you're playing a macro game, for example, like StarCraft, where you really have to observe the whole environment. You don't want to be that far away. You want to be able to see everything so you can manage that whole community with your arsenal, whatever you're using. If you're using a keyboard that's ergonomically balanced, great. If you're not, if you're using the one that is not, that's use what you can, but try to have the best thing for your body. Because don't forget, as a gamer, it's not the problem of just gaming right now in the moment. The issue is this: how are you going to be feeling maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, 4 years from now? Well, I want you to be healthy. I want you to feel good about yourself. So Z Shark, I hope that helped you. I have another. Fat Soggy Muffin. That is one of the funniest names. Dr. Levi, what can I do to stretch my hands before I begin to play? That's a great question, and I have a lot of videos on YouTube about stretching your fingers, your hands, your wrists, your elbows, shoulders, and neck before your game. So let's go to the bottom line about that. And that is, you want to take about 5 minutes for every hour of gaming. So after 60 minutes of play, take 5 minutes to stretch your hands or your fingers. Now you're asking stretches before you begin to play. The same exercises apply. So I want to show you a few. So take a look here. Again, this is for Fat Soggy Muffin. So hand straight. So you want to flex your wrist up. Flex your wrist, extend your wrist. So do a set of 10 to 15 right before you begin to play. Then your wrist, roll your wrist around one direction 10 to 15 times. Roll your wrist back the other direction 10 to 15 times. Then make a fist, open and close, open, close, open, and close. Now, you can do those exercises. Those are very, very basic. You can also do this, where you just bring your fingers back and hold for 10 to 15 seconds. Bring them down, hold for 10 to 15 seconds. You can do this with your arm extended, actually, your elbow extended, just like that. Hold 10 to 15 seconds, and up again, hold 10 to 15 seconds. You know, as a gamer, your bodies take so much, take so many hits kinetically. So when you're doing those stretches, Fat Soggy Muffin, I recommend that you do them again before you begin gaming, during a state of gaming, 60 minutes later, every 5 minutes, do it again. And do that. The key here is, what can you do to feel better with your hand health, as well as your hand, wrist, upper extremity health? So if you do these things, I think it would help you tremendously. Now, I also want to address the issue of mouse sensitivity. This comes up a lot. What about the DPI for mouses? Or for your mice, I should say. So if you have low sensitivity, the bottom line is this: it will take more of your hand's ability to push or move the mouse because it's low sensitivity. If you have higher sensitivity, just a touch of the mouse will cause the mouse to move, or will cause the cursor to move. Now, what I've seen in my practice is the following. That is, people in general, this is what I've seen now, and this may be different from someone else, but I've seen people who use high sensitivity on their mouse. I've seen more RSI in those players. But don't forget now, I'm taking care of pro players, pro athletes from all over the world. So most of them, of course, depending on the game, but I'd say the majority use high sensitivity on the mice when they're playing. For example, they're playing a game like League of Legends or WoW or CSGO. It really doesn't matter the game as much. When you're playing games that really take high movement, quick movements, often the sensitivity, if it's high, I see these people developing RSI, repetitive stress injury. So what I want to remind you to do as a gamer, as a gaming athlete, is to take time to stretch and do the stretches every 5 minutes, every 60 minutes. Now, what else can you do as a gamer to minimize injury? Well, of course, stay fit, stay healthy. Drinking and smoking, you really want to minimize that in your career in gaming, because none of that adds to optimize your life. None of that adds to optimize how you game and how you play. So If you can stay as fit as you can, work out every day for at least 45 minutes to an hour. Really do your best to do that. And of course, watch what you eat, because we are what we eat and what we drink. So you want to really be focused on eating foods that are nutrient dense foods. You want to eat things that have a lot of fiber in them, things that have proper protein balance, lentils and beans, of course, brown rice, salmon, fish. All these types of foods will really help your body to stay healthy. And if you're gaming, of course, because you guys game so much and so often, if you don't have a healthy diet, guess what? You will not be able to play as well. Your actions per minute will not be as quick. You won't be able to game as fast. Therefore, if you're not gaming as fast, you're not winning as much. And I want you to win. I want you to be healthy. I want you to do things that will cause you to really optimize your life, to be the best that you can be. So gaming is one of those areas whereby your bodies take such a hit that you have to do what you can to stay healthy, to minimize the issues of repetitive stress injuries, and also to do the stretches. Now, I'm going to show you later on during the show, later on during this Twitch TV broadcast, I want to show you some exercise and stretches that you can do to minimize RSI, but more importantly, to get you healthy and to remind yourself when you're gaming, every maybe 15 minutes to a half an hour, you want to really assess yourself. You want to really look at yourself and think, okay, are my shoulders slouching? Am I slouching? Are my legs crossed underneath the desk? Are my hands on the desk? Are my elbows on the desk? You want to really look at yourself. So if that's happening, you want to minimize that by staying upright, shoulders square. Now, I do know, of course, with many games, of course, you want to move quickly because the games are so interactive. I get it. I understand. You can be interactive, but I still want you to remain as ergonomically balanced as possible in your desk, at your desk, in your chair, with your feet firmly planted on the floor, a little more than shoulder width apart, and just relaxed and just hit it hard when you're playing. It's always, for myself, I'm thinking when you're playing, when I talk to gamers, when they say, well, Dr. Levi, what about I'm having wrist pain, I'm having hand pain, I play every day, what should I do? The bottom line is this: you have to monitor your body. If you have pain, that's the way the body's saying, you know what you're doing is too much for me. So you want to step back, look at your body, be aware of it, and do something different. And that may mean the following. Number one, check the sensitivity of your mouse. If it's high sensitivity, maybe try at the mid-range. You don't necessarily have to go very low, but try mid-range. If your chair is not balanced, well, think about investing in an ergonomically balanced chair. Also, the monitor. Make sure your monitor is large enough whereby the ratio, when you're looking at your monitor, you're not squinting your eyes, that you're not directly on the monitor. You really want to be at a distance, I stated before, about 20 inches, 30 maximum. Even that's a lot. 20 inches should be more than enough. And your keyboard, of course, should be approximately 6, 9, maybe 10 inches right in front of you. The goal here is also to keep your elbows at approximately 90 degrees when you're playing, so that you're not flexing or extending your elbows a lot. You want to keep everything in the what we call the plane of play, meaning that your elbows are at 90 degrees, your wrist is not flexed or extended, and when you're playing, your wrist is like this, in a neutral position where you can move your wrist like that. You want to really do that to minimize repetitive stress injury, RSI, because the goal here is the following. Yes, I want you to play. Yes, I want you to play a lot. Yes, I want you to have great careers. However, I want those careers to be injury-less. That's the bottom line. I want you to be able to play and play really hard. Hey, I got another question here from Z Shark. The question is, shouldn't high-sensitivity players get less hand injuries, considering they have to move their hands a lot less? Well, that's a great question. It appears they may move their hands less, but they have to exert more control with their hands to move the mouse. Because if they move too quickly, of course, the cursor goes right off the screen. It appears, yes, that they're going to move their hands or wrists less. However, they have to exert more control of the very small muscles of their hand, specifically the intrinsic muscles of the hand, to not go out of the plane of play. So it's counterintuitive to think that, but I understand what you're saying, that yes, if it's high sensitivity, you move less. Well, shouldn't you have less injury? Well, no. I've seen just the opposite. And I'm sure you know Z-Shark. If you talk to, if you're a professional player, and if you know them, of course, they will all say across the board, for the most part, high sensitivity is what makes it work for them. So I want you to really think about trying to do one thing, not going down to the lowest, but maybe trying to play at mid-range. And I bet you that will help you, Z-Shark. I really appreciate the question. And Z-Shark, I want to remind you, too, there's an entire arsenal of videos on my YouTube channel that you can go to. You know, I'm grateful to do this broadcast on Twitch TV, but I want you to know on YouTube, I have a plethora of videos that you can go with respect to learning about hand health, wrist health, elbow health, how to do the proper stretches. Everything is on there for you. I'm just grateful to be in this very relaxed environment to interact with you today and to let you know I'm here for one thing, to be of service, to answer your questions, to keep you gaming for a long period of time, very healthy, and more importantly, to prevent all injuries. Now, I want to talk about carpal tunnel syndrome. I get questions about carpal tunnel all the time from the gaming community, from the gaming athletes. So I want to go over some of the basics of carpal tunnel. When an individual, specifically a gamer or esports athlete, comes to my office with complaints of carpal tunnel, the major things that I hear all the time is, Dr. Levi, my hand hurts so bad that it wakes me up at night. I have night pain. Or I have tingling and numbness in my thumb, my index finger, my ring finger, and half of my ring finger and my middle finger. Or they will say that their grip strength is dramatically decreased over the past several months or years and sometimes weeks. And at the same time, they will say that the pain is heightened and exacerbated when they're gaming. So the first thing I do when I examine them after I get their history is I look at their hands, of course, and their wrists. I ask them to bring their keyboards and even their monitor so I can see how they play. When I look at the injured athlete, I want to see them in their native work environment. Therefore, when I look at how they set up their keyboard, where the mouse is, the type of chair that they use, sometimes they will bring everything with me. They'll bring the chair, the mouse, the keyboard, the joystick, the trackball, everything. I'm really happy when I see that, because when they're set up like that, I can see exactly how they play, and more importantly, we can make the corrections together. And it's always an interactive suggestion with them. You know, when I see the injured esports athlete, I don't just tell them, do this, do this, do that. No. We talk about what's going to work for them as a pro, what's going to keep them gaming, what's going to keep them healthy. But more important, we have to do things that they like. Because even if they see me and we go over everything and they don't like all the suggestions or they don't like everything the way it's been placed, guess what? When they go back home, when they go back playing with their team, they're going to go back and revert to the same thing. So I remind them that I'm here to be the igniters of change, to give them information, but more importantly, to get them feeling really, really good. Hey, I have another question here. This is from Cy Duckling F. And it says, hey, yo, Dr. Levi, semi-unrelated question, but you consider esports as a sport? I personally don't in the same way. I don't consider darts a sport, but still have a lot of respect for pro gamers, but don't consider it specifically a sport. And that's from PSY Duckling F. Well, I appreciate your comment there, but yes, I definitely consider gaming a sport. The esport athletes and the gamers, they are athletes. Think about it, Cy Duckling F. The gaming athletes are doing several things. So when they're playing, their mind has to be focused because they have to have a strategy to game. They're using their hands, their wrists, their fingers to cover a certain map. If they're playing, let's say, League of Legends, you have to cover a map. You have to be looking at things. You have to buy the right tools to win. You have to have a strategy about how to win. Your team has to have a strategy. Oh my goodness, yes. So I want to be clear about this. The esport athletes and the gamers, they are definitely that. They're athletes. And I want to go as far as saying this, Side Duckling F, is I believe that gamers and the esports community should be a part of the Olympics. I've always thought that because their skills, what they have to do, the strategy planning, the teamwork, absolutely, it should be an Olympic sport. So I feel very strongly about that. I'm thankful that you share your opinion with me, but I have to compassionately disagree and say that yes. And don't forget, even you mentioned another sport here. You said what was it? It was darts. You said darts. You have respect for them. You don't consider that a pro game. Well, I want to tell you they are. I've taken care of professional dart players, and yes, it's a sport also. Not only the accuracy, but the amount of control that they have. I've actually set up specific protocols of exercise for dart players. And one of our videos, I'm going to put that on so you can see that. But yes, they are athletes also. I have another question from the Angry Alien. So it says, what will you suggest to be the best way to increase my hand dexterity and speed for things like real-time strategy games such as StarCraft 2? Also, really great to see you on Twitch. Hey, thanks, the Angry Alien. Glad that you're with us. So let's say this. If you're playing a what I call a macro observation game like StarCraft 2, well, the bottom line is this: to increase your hand dexterity and speed for things. So you want to do some of the exercises that I've taught before, and I'll go over a few with you right now. So take a look. So again, you want to do these right before you start. If you want, you can get a squeeze ball to do them. That will help you a little bit. Then up and down with your wrist. Flex and extend your wrist around the world, back around the world, then make a fist around the world, back around the world. Then you can also do this. You want to massage this area up for 5, like that, down for 5. Up for 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down for 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then make a fist again, 5 times, 4, 5, and then take a look at this piano, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you can do this also. I call this a prayer pose, where you're like this, just push together and hold for 10 to 30 seconds. Then wrist down, hold for 10 to 30 seconds, just like this. Now, when you're holding this, you're not just having your hands this way. You're actually pushing. You're pushing your wrists together like this, all right? Then other things that you can do is just this. It's called a shout out. Just out, 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 just like that. Now, these are very basic exercises, but they'll help you. Because if you want to do things for dexterity, the bottom line with dexterity, you have to have strength to do things even faster. So I hope that helps. Now I have a question, actually a comment from Side Duckling F. Thanks for your answer. Hey, well, thanks for being a part of our Twitch TV community. Our broadcast is specifically geared for one community. That is people who use their hands a lot. Bottom line. So for the gamers, it's for you. This station, this Twitch TV station, for you, the gamers, the esports community. I believe that things that we're talking about will really help other people who have hand issues and elbow, shoulder issues. For sure, it will help everyone. But as the gamers doctor, the esports doctor, I'm here to really be an advocate and a voice of activism to protect gamers. That's what I want to do as an orthopedic surgeon. That's one of my main missions in life, to be active in the gaming community. And speaking of that, I just want to add, I'll be at BlizzCon in November, and I'll also be at the ESL Finals in Oakland in November, so I can't wait to be there. That's going to be really phenomenal. Now, I have another question from JoviBear94. Hi, Dr. Levi, just followed you. Hope to see you more gaming streams in the future. Okay, well, thanks a lot, JoviBear94. That will definitely happen. I appreciate the comment. And don't forget, all you guys that are listening, let your friends know that I'm here. Let them know that you have a doctor here. You have an orthopedic hand, upper extremity specialist here to do this with you. I want to interact with you. I want to hear what's going on in the gaming community. I want to hear it straight from the gamers. Now, don't forget, I talk to gamers every day, so I know a lot about what's going on. But I want to hear from you. If you're in Nepal, if you're in New Zealand, if you're right here in the U.S., if you're in Hawaii, the Philippines, Korea, no matter where you are, my job is to be of service to you, to the gaming community. So I'm just really happy that you're interacting. So tell your friends to join me. And of course, you have access to my library of information on YouTube. And my YouTube channel, just like my name, is Dr. Levi Harrison. So go there and get all the information that you want. We really want to get you healthy. I want you to feel real good about yourself. And to do that, you have to do the work. I can give you all the information, but as a gamer, you have to do it. And one thing that's clear about the gaming community that I know really well, and that is gamers are dedicated to the art, the science, and the profession of gaming. And guess what? So am I. I'm dedicated to it also. I'm dedicated to having gamers have healthier lives, have a body that they can use before, during, and after their gaming careers. I want you to be healthy. I really do. So that's a part of my mission. Now, I want to say here, I appreciate a big shout out again to the Angry Alien, to Jovi Bear 94, to Cy Duckling F, as well as the funniest one there, Fat Soggy Muffin. Oh gosh, that is too funny. I also have a comment from Kellorik 90, that's Kelorik 90. He says, he or she says, I have very bad hand cramps after long gaming sessions. Your hand exercise really helped me out. Oh, well, glad to hear that. That's what we're doing. That makes me and my team feel really happy because, we're so dedicated and so focused on helping the gaming community. That's what we do. That's why we wanted to start this Twitch TV station. It was really to do that because I know with YouTube we give a lot of information, but I wanted to do something that I only do at like ESL or Comic-Con or BlizzCon. I want to interact with gamers on a more intimate basis. I want to interact with them more often. Now, even though, yes, you come to my office, we talk about your issues, I get you healthy, that's all great and good. But I really want to be able to interact with people on a global platform. And I'm grateful that Twitch TV affords me the opportunity to do that. So please let your friends know and let your family know, let your other gamers know that, hey, you have an orthopedic surgeon here, a hand doctor who is here ready to be of service to you. So again, to Fat Soggy Muffin, Cy Duckling F, the Angry Alien, Jovi Bear 94, and Z Shark, yes, and to Kellorik, Kelorik 90. I really appreciate. Oh, Kellorik again, hey, thank you, Kellorik. Kellorik 90 says, yes, I never really thought about it until I came across your YouTube. Now, were you talking about your hand cramps, Kellorik? So let me know what you're saying there. But I'm just so happy that I can interact with you. And don't forget, I appreciate you guys for following me here on Twitch. And thanks again for subscribing to our YouTube channel. That YouTube channel has so much information there to really help you. And I just want to interact with you in a very relaxed environment so that I want you just to pick my brain. Anything you need me to tell you, I will let you know. And Fat Soggy Muffin, it's really, Fat Soggy Muffin asked about, what is this? About cracking his knuckles? Okay, so now I want to tell you now. So Fat Soggy Muffin, that's I think you sent that to me before about, so I'm going to bring it up today. Let's talk about knuckle cracking. So like this. I love cracking my knuckles, actually. So I want to tell you that so many people say, oh, Dr. Levi, somebody told me that cracking my knuckles are bad. Dr. Levi, does that cause arthritis? So let's talk about that. There has been no specific studies that have shown that cracking your knuckles will cause arthritis. So let's just flush that away. Until I see a study that says it is well done, I want you to know right now, today, October 1st, our first Twitch TV broadcast here, I want you to know that there are no studies that say that cracking your knuckles are bad. I do it all the time. I actually like the feeling of it. So let's talk about the science of that. When someone cracks their knuckles, what that means is that there's increased gas, specifically nitrogen bubbles, in the synovial fluid. The synovial fluid is the fluid that's inside the joints. So when there's pressure, when the bones are coming closer together, that pressure sound that you hear is actually the sound of nitrogen bubbles, gases being released inside the joints. So that's the science of it. So I want you to know the science of it. I want you to know my opinion about it. But more importantly, I want you to know that there is nothing bad about it so far. Now, if I see a study that says, hey, guess what? There's been a change of plans. It can cause arthritis. Then I'm in trouble. Because I've been cracking mine for many, many years. My mother always says, if you do that one more time, boy, you know what that means, of course. I still do it in the other room, of course. So yes, cracking your knuckles can be an easy thing to do if you want, but it doesn't cause any problems that we know of. So same with your toes also, not an issue right now. Now, I also want to address carpal tunnel. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but I wanted to expand on that. And that is, so when the gamers present with carpal tunnel syndrome, again, it's numbness and tingling in the thumb, index finger, middle finger, half of the ring finger, decreased grip strength, pain that they may cause them to awaken at night, as well as a feeling that their hands feel very, very tight and that they have cramping in their hands, especially when they're using a mouse or even a controller. You know, they'll say that, Dr. Levi, even when I'm holding a controller, it's very, very painful. So let's talk about that. The first thing I tell them is you have to do the gliding exercise. So I want you all, when you can go to my YouTube channel, and it will show you how to do gliding exercise. I'll give you a demonstration in a second also. But the gliding exercise, and that's gliding, just like gliding. Gliding exercises can be done to minimize, and we often say or hope that they decrease the chances of someone getting carpal tunnel syndrome. So first we start off with the gliding exercises. I asked them, of course, I said to show me how they play. We make the modifications, the ergonomic modifications of how they play. And then third, which we do, which is very, very important, of course, is getting them the right equipment. If they're playing with equipment that's either very old, outdated, not very balanced, then we have to make those changes, of course. The other thing that I will say, too, is that I will often give them a brace to wear. But the brace is only for nighttime. I don't want them to wear the brace all the time, because don't forget, when you're wearing a brace, you're not allowing your tendons to have the same excursion, because the brace will block your fingers from moving as well. They will cause your hand to rest, absolutely, I agree with that. However, they will still cause the hand to be weaker. So I don't believe in bracing someone for 5 and 6 weeks. That to me is like old school thinking about medicine and about how to maintain the strength of the hand. But bracing them at night is really good, because often when people are sleeping, many of us, myself included, I know that we will go into this fetal position like this. You will sleep either on your wrist or on your hands. You'll bend your wrist. When you do that, you put increased pressure here. This is your carpal tunnel, is right in this area. So this is the palmaris longus tendon, and right underneath that is the transverse carpal ligament, and then underneath that is the median nerve, which goes through the carpal canal. So if there's increased pressure on that, imagine sleeping like this for 4, 7, 8 hours with your wrist bent like that or flexed. You cause increased pressure in this area. So I believe it's very important to minimize that type of stress on the wrist, especially when you're sleeping. So I give them a brace, a volar wrist splint, to sleep with at night, along with the other change that we make to their gaming environment, because the whole environment sometimes has to be changed so that they don't get these problems with their wrists, their hands, their fingers, as well as their shoulders. You know what? I have another comment here from the Angry Alien. Wow. How exactly does carpal tunnel develop in terms of what physically happens in the hand? So it develops, well, let me say a few things. No one knows exactly why someone develops carpal tunnel, but I will tell you this, carpal tunnel is seen more often in someone who has diabetes. We see it many times. Someone can develop gestational carpal tunnel, like they develop gestational diabetes, actually. So we see it in people who have repetitive stress injuries, meaning that someone who, for example, uses a jackhammer, someone who does a lot of gaming. But I want to tell you this, it's very intriguing that there have been studies done at the Mayo Clinic, for example, that have shown that repetitive stress injuries don't really cause carpal tunnel, that people who are like court reporters, for example, who are stenographers, that if they do that a lot, that it really doesn't cause carpal tunnel. So no one really knows why some people are more prone to getting carpal tunnel and other people are not. We don't know. But I can tell you myself personally, in my practice, I see it mainly in people who do a lot of repetitive motion, people who type a lot, people who text a lot, people who game a lot, people who do a lot of heavy lifting constantly. I see it in a lot of people who deliver a lot of packages from different companies. They're lifting, they're pushing, they're pulling. I see it in people who do a lot of serving, even service. Often they will serve something, they'll have a tray on their hands like this. I see it again with gamers who have the mouse on high sensitivity. I see it often with them also. So, it's a wide range of demographics. If you read about carpal tunnel, it will tell you that it's mainly in women over 40 years of age. I don't find that true in my practice at all. I find it in young children up to, I should say, teenagers. I've seen it in teenagers 16 to 17. I've seen it in my oldest patient ever who was like 101. She was 101 or 102 who had carpal tunnel. So there's a wide demographic. But the problem with carpal tunnel is the pain in those areas I said is increased pressure in the carpal canal from the nerve being very swollen, for the tendons being swollen, overuse. All of these things can do it. You may have a mass inside your wrist. For example, a cyst inside the carpal tunnel can cause pressure. The bottom line is this. The transverse carpal ligament is causing pressure on the median nerve, and therefore it causes the nerve to lack the amount of nutrition that it should get, which is blood supply and oxygen. So then you have these problems. And also I want to tell you, too, with carpal tunnel, you can have atrophy of these muscles. These are the thenar muscles. These are the hypothenar muscles. And these muscles can get very, very atrophied, and the hand can look very weak and not very good. So those are the things that can happen. I'll talk about treatments about that, too. So I have another question from, I like this, one of my favorite movies, actually. Edward Scissorhands 101. Hi, Dr. Levi. Oh, this is nice. You're a gift to the gaming community. I would like to know what is really important to increase actions per minute, APMs, got it, potential with the hands, muscle strength, overall flexibility, or both. Well, it's several things. Number one is fitness level. You want to be fit. Number two is nutrition. You want to make sure that you're eating properly so that your body and your brain and your mind can be focused. And see, and this is another reason why I say the gaming community is about being athletes. You guys are athletes. You really are. So you want to be fit. You want to be healthy. So it's really about eating properly. It's about nutrition. It's about getting proper rest. I want to do a video soon about rest and recovery. Because if you're not rested, think about it. The brain needs oxygen and the body needs rest to increase your creativity, your problem-solving skills. All these things are about resting of your brain and sleeping properly. And many of you gamers, you know this, and I'm gonna say it right now, sleep very, very little because you game so much. Now, I love the fact that you're gaming a lot. That's fine. But I want to say you have to take time to rest. You have to take time to sleep properly so that when you come back, boom, you're ready to go. You're ready to, as I always say, game on. You're ready to play hard. You're ready to win. You're ready to do what you can with your team to have a strategy. If it's a macro game like League of Legends, or if it's a first-person shooter game like Call of Duty, no matter what it is, you want to be ready. You want to be prepared. You want to have your body ready to do that. So it's not simply muscle strength and not overall flexibility. It's overall fitness level. It's rest. It's nutrition. And yes, it's strength of your hands and flexibility. Yes, that's a part of it for sure. But it's the whole package. You want your body to be able to do what you want it to do. And with gaming, you have to be thinking about, your arsenal, your strategies. It's so much. Gaming is so complex. That's why it is definitely, I want to put this on record again, my first day on Twitch TV, it is definitely a sport, period. Now, I hope that helps you, Edward Scissorhands 101. So I want to remind everyone to let your friends and other gamers and teammates know that I'm on. I'm doing this simply for one reason, to help the gaming community, to be a source of knowledge, and more importantly, to help you to prevent any type of repetitive stress injury, RSIs. That I want those to not even be a part of the gaming community anymore. I want to give you so much knowledge, give you so much insight that you feel better about yourself. Edward Scissorhand 101 again. Thank you so much for the answer. Of course, that's my job. So thank you, Edward Scissorhand. I really appreciate that. The other thing I want to say too about being on Twitch TV is not only being relaxed, but we can do it right from a studio where it's quiet, it's peaceful, and I can really talk with you and really be your doctor du jour, be the one right here to listen to you, hear what your thoughts are, I want to be your doctor. I want to know what I can do to make you feel good about yourself, to game really well, to win, and not have any injuries. Hey, I have another one from Kellerick90. I wonder what that means. Maybe it's just your name, but I like that name. Kellerick90. I find it so damn hard to keep my hands warm during cold Canada winters. Got to keep the blood flowing. I absolutely agree with you. So let me show you a few things you can do about that. So number one, when you're gaming, I'm actually going to design some of these. I've been asked about it before, so I'm going to do that. You can buy the hand warmers, but the design of the hand warmers is not the best at all. So I have a design that I'm going to actually do soon for hand warmers. So I want to share this with you, Kellerick90. You can do this before you start gaming. So if you don't have hand warmers or have the things I'm going to actually bring to the market soon, is you want to rub your hands like this, back and forth for about 20 to 30 seconds. Then rub your hands the back of your wrist, the same thing, about 20 to 30 seconds. Then here, your fingers like this. Then take a look at this, back and forth. Now you're pushing back and forth like this for a set of 30 seconds, just like this. All right? Then back again here, just like that. Again, 30 seconds, and then just shaking out your hands here. So that your hands and your wrist are ready. Circles, reverse circles, back and forth. But this would be the best. The key with warming up your hands is so often you see people do this. Well, when you do that, you lose contact. To get heat in your hands, it's about surface area, cross-sectional area. You have better cross-sectional area of your hands with respect to them being together when you're here. So you want to do just like this. Not that, just right here. Really, really fast. And then again, the back of your wrist, the same thing. 30 seconds. That will definitely help you, I believe. And I want to say this, big shout out to Canada. I love Canada. I love Alberta. I love Toronto. Et j'adore Québec. Québec, c'est une ville très, très, très belle. Okay, I love Canada, and I love Quebec, and it's just an amazing place. I want to say that. So thank you for your shout out there about Canada. That was from Kellerick90. Now, I have another one from Y-Fighter. I've been getting wrist pains periodically and never have had it looked at or anything. Generally, the pain happens when moving my wrist too far in any direction. Any suggestion? I appreciate that question, Y-Fighter. So, several things. Let me tell you about that. Number one, with your wrist and hands. Wait, you have another thing here. Generally, the pain happens when moving my wrist. Okay, yes. So look, let's talk about this, Y-Fighter. This is very critical. I want to demonstrate this really well. When you're gaming, you want to do your best to keep your hands in a neutral position, just like this, neutral. You don't want to have the mouse whereby your hands are hyperextended, your wrist is hyperextended, or your wrist is hyperflexed. You want to make sure, if you can, have a keyboard that's tilted about 10 to 15 degrees, maybe 20 degrees, so you don't have to reach very far when you're tapping the keys. The other thing that's important, I want to share this with you. If you have a gel pad, for example, that your mouse sits on, then make sure that the gel pad is not so high that your wrist is up like this. Then that's not good either. You want to be a neutral position like this. So again, not extended, not flex, neutral position. That should help you a lot. Now the key is, Wi-Fi, you have to correct that all the time. So you have to be aware of what you're doing. If you're gaming, let's say 8 hours a day, which is not a lot, but it's some. If you're gaming 8 hours a day, you have to really correct yourself every 15 minutes and look at your hands and think, okay, how are my wrists? How are my fingers? Are my wrists flexed like this? Are they hyperextended? You really want to stay in that neutral position. That's going to help you tremendously, Wi-Fighter. And the other thing, of course, is the keyboard, that it's not 20 inches in front of you, no more than 8 to maybe 10 inches maximum in front of you, so you don't have a lot of a reach for things like this. Because don't forget, when you're reaching a lot, you're also putting stress not only on your hands and your wrists, but also on your elbows and your shoulder. So I want your whole body to be healthy. And as a gamer, as a gaming athlete, you need your whole body to be healthy. That's very important. Okay. I got from Kellerick90, I got a thanks. So thanks a lot. Canada loves you too. Toronto here. Well, thanks a lot, Keller. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So, Wi-Fighter, let me know if that helps you. And if you have another question, let me know while I'm here today. I'll interact with you, and I'll give you my medical advice to get you feeling well, healthy, but more importantly, gaming a long period of time without any injury. Now, my next question here is, Z Shark. My fingertips are very often really red. I didn't think much about it until my parents pointed it out. Is it something I should be worried about? LOL. Okay, so Z Shark, I'll tell you this. Now, if you're two things here. One, depending on your skin tone and the pigment in your skin, you may have more redness in your hands. So I always tell people when they come into my office and say, well, you know what, Dr. Levi, my fingers are very cold or they feel very blue. Or they'll say just the opposite, what you're saying, my hands are often very, very red. So I want to tell you the things that I see most commonly associated with that. If their hands are very red, sometimes it's simply due to using your hands a lot. You just have increased blood flow in your hands. If your hands are very cold and very bluish in texture and look, often I see that associated with something called Raynaud's phenomena, or Raynaud's disease, in which someone has vasoconstriction of the vessels in their hand, and it gets worse, of course, if they smoke, because smoking causes vasoconstriction throughout your body, of course. So the blood vessels are getting allowing less blood flow to the tips of the fingers into the hand, and sometimes it can be caused by stress. Now, I want to say this: there's another area that I often see people with red type hands, and that's something called hyperhidrosis, in which they have increased sweating of their hands, and often their hands will have I've seen this many times in my practice anyway, a red look to that. And again, I think that's from just the increased blood flow there. The sympathetics, or let me just not get complicated here. The nervous system is slightly off. So someone with hyperhidrosis will often have increased sweating of their hands, their feet, their groin, as well as their armpits will sweat more. And often I know them when I meet them in my office, because when I say, hi, I'm Dr. Levi, happy to have you here, when they reach their hand to me, they will put their hands in their pocket, or they'll wipe their hands on their pants before they shake my hands. And immediately when I see that, I know that's a sign of hyperhidrosis. But in your case now, what you asked me specifically was about having your hands that are often red. If it doesn't bother you, if you're not having decreased sensation in your hands, it should be okay. But I would still, don't forget, because I'm not there to actually examine you, and this is my overall caveat, of course, for the show, is be sure to check in with your own healthcare provider. Talk to her or him and let them know what you're feeling, because you know your body. Be aware of your body. Okay, gamers, let's go. So the next one is, Kellerick90 again. Yeah, proper hand placement on keyboard and mouse is really important if you're gaming all day. I didn't even really think about it until you just mentioned it. Well, I appreciate that, Kellerick90. I hope this helps you. And don't forget, Kellerick, one thing I want to share with you, as well as everyone that's on with us today for our first broadcast, which is really wonderful, is share the information with your friends. Because if this information can help you, let your other gaming communities know so it can help them. We want to have a community of gamer healing globally. That's why I'm doing Twitch TV, to start to be the nidus of global healing in the gaming community. I want you all to be healthy, to be fit, and really to prevent injury. So, and also let your friends know, please come and join us on Twitch TV, and you can even watch our other show, the Dr. Levi Show. And of course, you have access to all our library of gaming exercise and stretches on YouTube, all for you. So thank you, Keller. I appreciate that. Oh, another one from, hey, Wi-Fighter again. Okay. Now, I'm just curious. I want you to say Wi-Fighter or Wi-Fi. I don't know, but I like that name. So Wi-Fighter. So all of my peripherals are pretty far up. My mouse pad is under my monitor, and my keyboard is tilted nearly vertically. So should I move everything further back towards me? Absolutely. Yes. I would say yes to that. If you have everything so far, so let me tell you what happens. I should do a video one day to show another gamer doing this, but let me show you what happens. I'm going to do this from the side. If someone's gaming and everything is very far away, then you're reaching more. If you're reaching more, most likely you're slouching more. So you want to have everything right in your plane of vision so that your posture is also correct. Because don't forget, if your posture is correct, it's less strain on your neck, it's less strain on your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, your fingers. And don't forget, in gaming, these are gold. Again, your fingers, your wrists, golden. So you really want to make sure that you're doing these things to maintain the health of your hands, your wrists, your fingers, your upper extremity, but also your posture. Posture and postural alignment is so critical. It really, really is. We have to do these things in the gaming community to stay fit and to stay healthy. Okay, I have another comment here from Wi-Fi. It says, I'm generally leaned in towards my monitor. So I want you to really think about this, Wi-Fi. And when you're there, your shoulders, so look at this. Let me do it this way. So not here, I want your shoulders to be square, your neck is relaxed, your head is relaxed, and you just focus on what you're doing. So whatever you're playing, be sure to not do this. And sometimes I have gamers that I've taken care of who tell me they play like this. Like they're leaning back like this with one hand on their chin, and then they're using the mouse or the keypad. So that's those are things. If you do that, I always call it playing too tense. If you play too tense, that's not good. If you play too relaxed, that's not good. You want to be in that mid-range whereby you're cognizant of your body, you're aware of your posture, you're aware of the things you're doing with your fingers, your wrists, your elbows, your hands, your shoulders, because all of these things are the tools that you need to game. Let's talk about that briefly too. As a gamer, the number one thing a gamer uses, I want you to hear this, the number one thing they use, the brain. Use your brain for the strategy of gaming. Number two is your body, all right? And number three is your equipment. Your desk, your chair, your mouse, your console, whatever you're using, your keyboard, your monitor. All of these things are important. And of course, you have to have a healthy body. So gaming, is the sport of all sports because everything is so involved. Okay, I hope that helps you, Wi-Fi. I hope so. If not, let me know, and I'll help you more. So the next one, okay. This is from... Well, you guys are really sending these, huh? This is from Edward Scissorhands 101. Dr. Levi, I've heard from this doctor on a YouTube video that the key to excellent blood circulation and warm hands is diet, and that it is necessary to eliminate the junk food, which supposedly clogs smaller blood vessels. Is junk food really a main cause for cold hands? Okay, well, I appreciate your question. And this, of course, was from, Edward Scissorhands 101. So let me tell you this. I've never read a study that says junk food causes cold hands. I haven't seen that. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I haven't seen that. So you may want to ask that doctor who told you that, where did she or he see that? One thing I want to share with the gamers here and everyone who's listening today is that when a doctor, when she or he tells you do this, do that, you can always ask them, well, how do you know that, doctor? Where is that from? What study is that from? Where did you read that? So often when I have gamers in my office, and some patients too, they'll say, I heard, or somebody told me, or I thought, or I saw this on a YouTube channel or Google. Well, everything is there, but it doesn't mean it's the best thing. My job as a healthcare professional is to bring you quality care, quantity. I want to bring you a lot of information, but also quality of information. That's important for me as a healthcare provider. So I don't know of any study about junk food clogging that, but I will say this. If the food is not nutriently dense, it won't help you. So if you're eating things like a lot of different forms of high caloric foods that really don't have any vitamins or nutrients in it, that's not going to help you gaming, that's for sure. It doesn't help your fitness level either. It will help you to put on more calories, more fat. Therefore, how can you move as fast? A lot to think about there. I want you to be healthy. Now, okay, we have, who is this? This is from, Fat Soggy Muffin again. That term, geez. This is so awesome and happy we have real access to you. Thank you. Hey, Fat Soggy Muffin. That's my job, here to be of service. The next is from the Angry Alien. A non-health question here. What games do you like to watch as an esport? StarCraft 2, Overwatch, Dota 2 here. Well, let me tell you. In general, I like them all. And everyone, when I say this to gamers, they always say, no, Dr. Levi, what do you like the best? I really enjoy watching esports, from League of Legends to WoW. I mean, I love watching. So all of those, I just enjoy the interact. And what I really enjoy is looking at one team go against another and seeing them get ready to really go at it like gladiators. It just fires me up. That's all I can tell you. Now I have, I want to remind you guys to please join me on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and of course the Dr. Levi show is every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I want you to know here on Twitch TV, you have to let me know what you want me to talk about, what you want to hear, because I'm here to do that. Because this is a wonderful environment because it's relaxed. I'm totally de-stressed today. My family's doing great. I'm doing great. My team is doing fantastic, so I'm in a great place. I love having this interaction with you. I appreciate all your questions and your interaction and your comments also. I have another one now from Y-Fighter in regards to the brain. Sometimes when playing games, I can get mentally tired. Any suggestions on how to stay energetic when gaming? Yes. Number one, take that 5-minute break every 60 minutes. Stand up, shake your body out, do some of the exercises that I've taught you. Go to YouTube, take some of those exercises, do certain exercises every hour, then change it up the next few hours, do different exercises. But the goal is you take that 5-minute break to do several things. Rest your eyes, to stand up with respect to circulation, to increase that and improve that. Do your calf stretches. If you're sitting down all day, it's like being on a long plane ride. Do your calf stretches also. That's very important. I think it's going to be our last question before I have to go. And this is from Firewolf. Ooh, I love that name too. Hello, any new stretches or stretches? Any new stretches or exercise for hands that you did not cover from your hand stretch video, which I love? Okay, I'm glad you like it, Firewolf. Yes, I'm working on some new videos right now. They'll be out in a few weeks to show you some other hand stretches. I'm also working on a real comprehensive literally an encyclopedia of hand stretches that will really help gamers. So there's a lot going on. My goal is to really help this community to get you fit, to get you healthy, and more importantly, to prevent repetitive stress injuries. That's so very, very important. we'll put, and also too, all those exercises, we'll put that on Twitch and we'll put that on YouTube also. It's about almost 8 o'clock, guys, and I'll have to go. So let me tell you, this is from Edward Scissorhand 101, Dr. Levi. The stream is doing great. I'm going to invite all my friends to come and watch every week. Thank you, Edward Scissorhand. Please do like me on Facebook. Follow us here on Twitch TV, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm very, very grateful. It's 8 o'clock. Y-Fighter, thanks a lot for all your tips. Excited to see your more streams in the future. Absolutely. I'll see you guys later. This is Dr. Levi, Twitch TV. Bye. Great show.